Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, you'll be listening to a hypnosis session for a client that really wanted to lose weight. And I must have worked with a few hundred people to help them lose weight, and what is evident is that weight loss is, let's say, a symptom of a completely different underlying issue. It's very rarely the case that I've worked with people that they just love eating food too much. Quite often, the food is a coping mechanism to deal with things like stress and anxiety and shame and uncomfortable emotions. Now, the problem with eating as a way of coping with intense emotions that might be undesirable in some way is that, one, it works, albeit very temporary. Eating does change your biochemical state. But because it doesn't last very long, and people tend to choose not lean proteins and kind of fruits when they're feeling anxious and they tend to choose refined carbohydrates and highly processed food, which are quite addictive because of the sugar and salt content. It then leads to weight gain. And in this client's case, she gained weight as a result of certain life events. But because she gained weight quite rapidly, there was a feeling that she lost who she is. So people treated her in a particular way when she was slim. And when she changed her body shape, suddenly they treated her like someone entirely different. So in her case, there was this real feeling of, who is she anymore? You know, she lost a connection with who she was at her core. And that's why in this hypnosis session, you're going to hear a regression to a particular moment in her life where she was not just slim, but she was free. She was comfortable in her own skin. She liked who she was. And then an element of taking that and accessing the resource of knowledge. So she did know a lot about nutrition, even if she wasn't applying it. So that hybrid of feeling free and confident and full of self-esteem, plus the knowledge that she already knew about nutrition, was then moved into the present to enable her to make different choices to help make progress. And one of the key things there is that an emphasis on perfection is not desirable. And you know, there's a gambler's mentality that can take place here, that if you think of a gambler that loses, let's say, 1,000 or 10,000, there's a desire to get it back straight away. And then that can cause a real problem because they're risking more and they're becoming more reckless to make up for what they've lost. If someone's gained a lot of weight, there's a desperation to get back to exactly who they were straight away. And that's not how bodies work. You could gain weight rapidly, but in terms of losing weight is much more healthy for the body if it's a gradual weight loss. So in this hypnosis session, there's an emphasis on progression and progress over perfection, but also incremental continuity and adherence over a longer period of time. And that's important to pace the expectations so that there isn't an expectation of, well, if I'm not radically losing weight, then it isn't working. Quite often that creates a form of a self-fulfilling prophecy, because where most people give up is actually not when they're going wrong, is when they are actually doing the right things, but they're just not seeing what they perceive to be sufficiently rapid progress. And then they give up, which then means they don't make any progress at all. And then it gives them evidence that it wasn't working anyway. And that's why you get yo-yo dieting, where people radically lose weight and gain weight all the time. So in this hypnosis session, it's designed to create a highly resourceful state to reconnect with a confident identity, but also to take that confident identity to make better choices in the present, to get back to the confident version of herself. I think many people have a desire to lose weight because Western society makes the kind of food where it's easy to spike insulin levels and to gain weight rapidly very attractive. And we're bombarded with marketing messages where the premise is, if you're hungry, have a snack. And it's not necessary for a body to have a snack if you're hungry. It's absolutely fine for humans to have hours and hours and hours without eating. And in fact, that enhances the taste of food if you eat and you haven't eaten for a while. Whereas if you're constantly grazing, food is less desirable. So that's why a lot of people struggle with weight, because you're fighting against a lot of pressures and availability to encourage weight gain. So if you are struggling with weight loss, there will be a link nearby in the show notes that you can schedule a free 30-minute consultation call to explore working with me. But you might find that if you had a time in your life that you were very confident and you were making great choices, this hypnosis session will help you to reconnect with a confident version of your identity that in turn will help you make better choices in the present. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and on the outward breath, close your eyes. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation, and as you exhale, just allow feelings of tension to leave your body. On the outward breath, just allow yourself to extend that outward breath, meaning that it almost feels like 3 or 4 outward breaths all in one go. Completely empty your lungs so that on the next inward breath, it's deeper than it normally would be, enabling you to breathe in deeper and exhale deeper. And as you exhale, set the intention to release any feelings of tension. So as you breathe in and breathe out, you're becoming more resourceful and releasing that tension. Eyelids getting heavier and heavier. Muscles in the jaw becoming more relaxed. The neck and the shoulders feeling like tension is just melting away. Imagine arms feeling heavier, limp and loose. And even as you breathe in, just imagine your lungs, your stomach, your heart, your gut, just deeply relaxing now. I want you to imagine you're at the top of a beautiful staircase. Maybe it's made of marble or wood. And I want you to imagine looking down the staircase, accepting that this takes you deeper down into your subconscious mind. And I'll count down from 10 to 1 and you will imagine walking down the staircase deeper into your subconscious mind, while simultaneously feeling deeper and deeper relaxed. 10, taking that first step. Down the staircase is safe, well lit. That's it. Deeper relaxed, particularly in the facial muscles. And then 9, another step down the staircase. Again, releasing that tension 8, arms feeling limp, loose, heavy, all the way down to the tips of the fingers. 7, another step down the staircase, as the muscles in your neck and your shoulders just really release feelings of tension. That's it. I want you to imagine your head almost like it's a helium balloon on a string, just held up there. That's it. And then 6. As you breathe in, just imagine your lungs completely relax, so you can breathe in and breathe out effortlessly. And then 5, just imagine your gut, almost like a knotted hose in the garden. But as you breathe in that resourceful feeling of relaxation, I want you to imagine that knotted hose becomes unknotted, releasing any feelings of anxiety, and then imagining what your gut would look like as a shiny new garden hose, enabling food to effortlessly pass through your intestines, so it's in your body for less time. As you eat, your stomach will digest your food, and then your body will do what it needs to do to have it leave your body. And I want you to imagine there is a switch there next to your stomach that represents your appetite. I want you to visualize your stomach is shrinking, and the dial, the switch that measures your appetite, just turn it all the way down, not to nothing, but just accepting that you need less food than you think. Because whatever kilo of weight that you want to lose is the equivalent of 7,700 calories. That's about 3 or 4 days worth of eating. And if you have 20 or 30 kilos worth of body fat, then it means that you have 70 to 130 days worth of energy stored on your body. So it stands to reason that you don't need as much food because you have all this energy like a power bank, like a rechargeable battery there in your body fat cells. And therefore, you simply need less food. Allow that feeling of relaxation to pass into your legs as you continue to walk down the staircase. Legs feeling limp, loose, heavy, but you can still effortlessly walk down the staircase. 3 and then 2, and then just feel like even your toes are relaxing. Muscles in your forehead are relaxing. Even muscles you aren't even aware of. Around your ears, your nostrils. Imagine they all relax now. As you get to the end of the staircase and see that there is a door. And you can hear music on the other side of the door. And on the other side of that door will be a beach. And there will be an evening beach party. And you will see a version of you from the past that was dancing, full of confidence, happy in her body. If you accept the suggestion that that's on the other side of the door, let me know by nodding your head. Now it's time to walk towards the door and even through the door. I will count from 5 to 1 and you will imagine opening the door and walking through onto that beach. 5, standing in front of the door. 4, turning the handle. 3, opening the door. 2, walking through the door. And 1, closing the door behind you. As you are now on that beach. But you're on that beach completely invisible. It's just your energy. And I want you to see that version of you, perhaps from 12 years ago, full of confidence, happy in their body, dancing, smiling. And if you can see that version of you, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to imagine that you are adjusting your facial expressions to match her facial expressions. I want you to adjust your posture, any tension around your face to match this version of you. And in those moments when she isn't dancing, does she breathe differently? And I want you to breathe that way. So you're breathing like she does. Is she relaxed or is she tense? And I want you to be relaxed like she is. If she's smiling, does she force a smile or is it natural? And I want you to activate the same muscles in your face. And then I want you to imagine stepping into her body. So your energy is now in her body, and I want you to feel how good it feels to have that connection between mind and body. Feel what it feels like to dance on that beach. To love your body, to accept your body, to enjoy your body, and to feel how good it feels to activate feelings of high self-esteem and confidence. And notice where these feelings of confidence and high self-esteem is. Could be in the head, the heart, lower down in the chest. Scan your body for where you feel that incredible feeling of self-confidence and just point to that location. Amplify that feeling. If there's a sound connected to it, make that sound louder. Give it a color, make that color brighter. And accept that here in this moment you like yourself and you accept yourself. I want you to imagine that you take this energy with you as you imagine floating up and going forward in time. And I want you to imagine there is the world's best nutritionist. Maybe you see them in a doctor's coat, like a white coat. And I want you to imagine that here in this world of your own imagination, in front of the world's best nutritionist, you're learning that your body doesn't need salt and sugar and refined flour. What your body really needs is health. And the nutritionist explains that there are foods that harm and foods that heal. And you've been hurt. And I want you to accept the suggestion that food is not a diet. Food is not a routine. The right food now is medication to heal your body, your heart, and your soul. And the absolute best ingredients to do that are natural foods. I want you to also accept the suggestion that food tastes better when you pay attention to it. That you don't need that much food anymore because you're aware that you've got all these days worth of food stored as body fat. Your body can store energy. Your body can store protein. But your body can't store those micronutrients that only exist in vegetables, in fruits, in plant-based foods. I want you to tap into all of this wisdom from the world's best nutritionist and to go away feeling all of those wonderful feelings of confidence and self-esteem, and yet now know this isn't about forcing your body to lose weight. This is about healing the relationship between you and your body. And if you know the kind of foods that would help to do that, let me know by nodding your head. I also want you to accept the suggestion that when you go through anxious times, stressful times, it feels like food can help. It feels like a form of self-medication. And certain foods can. Healthy, natural foods can, because you're nurturing yourself. But those snacks and junk food give the illusion that they're helping because they change your state. But it doesn't last very long, which has you craving even more. I want you to accept the suggestion that you can eat whatever you want. You just don't want to eat foods that make you feel unhappy. You want foods that nurture and heal your body. I want you to travel further through the future, taking all of the knowledge from this nutritionist and all of that confidence and self-esteem and passion from that earlier version of you. And I want you to imagine watching yourself in the present, but imagining that you're asleep in your bed. I want you to imagine standing over that version of you and deciding that the best gift you can give yourself is to reconnect you with you when you had those feelings of personal pride, high self-confidence, self-esteem. And sometimes it's easier to know what you would do differently when you see yourself like you're someone else. And I want you to imagine that you are remote controlling you, all of your choices, all of your decisions, to take you towards a future where your ideal body weight. As you wake up, feel that something has changed, that there is almost like a microchip in your head being controlled by you at your most resourceful, helping you to make excellent choices. You wake up feeling confident, but also feeling a desire to make great choices. I want you to imagine what this version of you, reconnecting with your core identity, would eat. Perhaps for breakfast, perhaps for lunch. But interestingly, I want you to see that this version of you has a new coping strategy. You have different ways of dealing with when you're bored, when you're stressed, when you're anxious. And look at how many more effective ways there are of dealing with those emotions than eating food that doesn't nurture you. Maybe you see yourself listening to music, see yourself going for a walk, see yourself stretching or deep breathing, or see yourself, if you are to eat food, eating either delicious food or drinking good quality, clean water. And I want you to imagine that you see yourself not being perfect, but just making good choices the majority of the time. And I want you to see where you are a year from now. I want you to see yourself a year from now at the ideal body weight that you want to be. And notice that you didn't need to be perfect to get there, just consistent. just 80 or 90% of the food choices you're making are good, healthy, single ingredient foods. You would eat when you're hungry, and you'd stop even before you're full. You would make great choices. And you wouldn't be snacking in between meals because you would know that good food tastes amazing when you're hungry. And then see yourself in the evening falling asleep, even when you're hungry, knowing that the body will do whatever the body needs to do to maintain a healthy, happy body. And I want you to see that future version of you full of confidence, with amazing style, and accept that this is not a possibility, but a destiny, that this is the future that you're moving towards. And I want you to accept that you are unlocking all of the resources necessary to make this happen. I want you to imagine that this future version of you is like a delicate plant. It needs protecting, watering, feeding. And I want you to think about what you would do over the next few days to nurture this new identity. What would you eat? How would you use your body? Maybe going for a long walk, or maybe going for a swim. And if you know exactly what you would do to support this new direction towards this future version of you, just let me know by nodding your head. And then imagine that you're back there on that beach, seeing a younger version of you dancing. And just know that this is your natural tendency to be free, to be happy, to be confident. Many people try to lose weight to be happy and confident without realizing it's the other way round. You don't lose weight to be happy and confident. You happily and confidently lose weight. And as you realize that to be true, you go back through a door on the beach, climb up a staircase, and then find that you're listening to me firmly in the present. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, back in your own body, listening to my voice as I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. When you awaken, you will feel positive, confident, eager to protect that delicate new flower that is your future. Starting to count 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, that's right, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.